Hi, this is Bob Jordan of Keller Williams Real Estate in Blue Bell, Pennsylvania. Today we'll be covering how to locate, complete, save, and download our Pennsylvania state-required forms on eEdge. By dividing the introduction to myTransactions into 3 individual classes, we can cover each topic in detail fairly quickly. This video covers forms as a replacement for zip forms. We will not be covering any other information other than a quick overview of the power of eEdge. Let's do a quick review of where most agents are today. We most likely find that we are managing way too many separate systems. We've got contact management systems, lead provider systems, marketing systems, or MLS, and the list goes on. And of course, every system has its own unique database, its own login and password, and is frequently completely disconnected. eEdge is the real estate industry's first and only complete lead-to-close agent business solution. It includes lead management and routing capabilities, full contact management, a rockstar marketing library, and a true paperless transaction system, all in one integrated efficiency increasing package. As an overview, think of all the different programs that are integrated in myTransactions. Information from the MLS, forms, automated emails, creating things to do with reminders in the calendar, creating your own green sheet, everything integrated and produced as needed. This video will not cover all of myTransactions. We will only be covering one very small aspect of myTransactions today, forms. How to get the form you need and print it out or email it. Okay, let's get started. First, you'll need to sign in to mykw.kw.com. You will see a screen similar to this. At the top of the screen, you have a row Home, Education, Coaching, and so forth. There are a couple of options on how to get to myTransactions. At the top of your screen, under the headings we just looked at, are the eEdge drop-down headers. Leads, marketing, and so forth. There's also the drop-down transactions. There's also the eEdge control panel with the choice myTransactions as shown on the screenshot. Click on Show Options, then Transaction Home in the drop-down. The video starts up automatically to explain where you are and what choices you have. These instructions pop up automatically whenever you go to a new section of myTransactions. I would recommend that you listen to them at least once. You have the option of shutting them off so that they never pop up again. Agent Home shows all of the loops you have created. You can search for any client. You can see every activity you have completed since you first started using myTransactions. And at the bottom of this page is your task calendar with the ability to create a task. Click on Create a Loop. You have 2 places to make this choice. Click on either choice. Note that under the red bar with the words myTransactions and under the Transactions header bar are the words in blue, Agent Home. There's a right caret, and then the words in gray, Create Loop. This is a breadcrumb bar, which shows you exactly where you are. If you are lost, just look at the breadcrumb bar and you can click on any of the blue words to go back to that page. There are 2 loop choices showing on this page. The standard loops, which you will use most often. Under these 2 orange boxes is a blue link. Click on this, Show Other Loops. Now you see 4 orange boxes, 4 loop choices. Actually, you have a choice of 5 loops, but we aren't going to cover the 5th loop at this time. The 5th loop choice is Make an Offer. And then note the red bar and box to the right to choose a video to explain the differences between each of these loops. Click on More Information under the orange box Create Form Loop. An information box pops up and the remainder of the screen dims. You cannot do anything until you close this pop-up. Close this pop-up. Form loops are blank forms, similar to zip forms. These forms cannot be sent for e-sign, but they can be saved as PDF forms. The second choice is the basic loop. This is for use between you and your client only. This loop does not ask for a property address. It's usually used with a buyer prior to deciding on a home to purchase. These documents can be e-signed. The most common use is a buyer contract. However, I would recommend that you have a printed buyer contract to be signed if this is the first time you are meeting with this client. The standard loops are the ones you'll be using most often. We'll only be using the listing loop today. The buying loop has far too many options to go through them all in this video. If you know how to use the listing loop, you will understand how to use the buying loop. It would take at least 2 full days to teach all aspects of myTransactions. It's so large. Forms, e-sign, and form sets is only a small part of myTransactions. But you don't have to know eEdge or all of myTransactions to use the forms and e-sign. Let's go through a quick overview of the listing loop. We'll move quickly through some information slides. You will not have to do anything on your computer, but watch the screen for the next couple of slides. Under the orange Create Listing Loop box is the blue drop-down choice. Click to select your form set. It is blank. Click on the down arrow on the right side of this box. You will see any form sets you have created. However, this box is probably empty until we have completed the class on form sets. Click on the orange oval, Create Listing Loop. Do you know where you are in myTransactions? Remember to check the breadcrumbs often so you understand how this program works. Once again, do not use the back arrow at any time. If you want to go to a previous page or all the way back to Agent Home, just click on that page in the breadcrumbs. Unlike the basic loop, you must enter an address in the standard loops. Use an actual listing if possible. As I begin to fill in the address, Forms will find one of my listings and complete the information for me. If your address shows up, click on it. If not, click on the red box No. Then finish typing the address and click on the red box Continue to create a listing for this address. Click on the forms you want to use and add them to the forms in this loop. You can click on one form, then the orange box Add, or you click on some or all the forms you want included, then click on Add to move them all to this loop at one time. Now that you have moved the forms to the box on the right, it's important to place the forms in order using the Move Up and Move Down arrows. If you were in a buying loop and want to complete the agreement of sale, the buyers must check that they received the consumer notice, the seller's disclosure, and so forth. Obviously, you must have received and signed these documents prior to the agreement of sale. Think about the order. Your clients must sign the documents and place them in the correct order. Click on the orange box, Save and Continue. Note the blue words Add, Remove Forms as noted on the screen. You can add, remove forms at any time as long as you haven't added any information and saved them on these changes. If you have added information to the forms, you cannot remove them. The names of these forms will turn red to indicate that they cannot be removed. This is for your legal protection, so that you do not accidentally remove a form with information on it. Note that the first form to be completed is the consumer notice. In actuality, you will probably print this form and have it signed by pen. You can print the blank form to complete information, then print it. Click on Start Form to begin. Type in your client's name. As I begin to type a name, Forms will search my database for all names that may fit. I click on the correct name or on New Client, Add, and Attach. When learning how to use these forms, it would be best not to send them to a client until you've worked with the program to make sure you're doing it correctly. You can send yourself emails using your email address plus the plus sign and a describer before the @ sign. On this screen, note that I have created a new client, Mac Lister. Rather than sending Mac the forms, I'm sending them to a fictitious email account, BobJordan1000, that's my email address, plus the plus sign and maclister @gmail.com. Gmail doesn't see the plus sign and anything between it and the @ sign. Gmail sent it directly to me, but I can see that it was sent to me for Mac Lister. Click on the orange. The note Client Added will pop up. Click on the orange Save and Continue. Lost? Remember to check the breadcrumbs to see where you are or to return to a previous page. You will see this note above your form when you begin working on it. You can type in the consumer's printed name, your printed name, and your license number. Note, if you were to do e-signing, you would sign at the bottom of this form. See the pink box? However, we are not going to do e-signing at this time. Click on the red Save box on the bottom left. Then, at the bottom right of this page, click on the orange More Options box. Choose Open as PDF. You can click on Forms in this loop at any time to see all the forms. Or you can click on Listing Loop Summary in the breadcrumbs at the top of the page to go back to the list of all the forms. Do click on Listing Loop Summary. Click on the box to the left of all the forms you want to print. You do not have to type in any information on any of these forms, or you may have typed in your office name, your address, and so on, your name and contact information, and the client's name and contact information. Or you may also complete any of the forms with your standard choices for each form prior to printing. Click on the Open as PDF on the bottom left of this page. This will send all the forms to your computer to be printed as PDF forms. Or you can click on Send at the bottom right of this page. If you clicked on Send, you'll be given the following options on how to send all the documents you checked. You can send online using the myTransactions system, or you can fax if available from your computer, or you can send the PDF forms by email. This is the choice you will make. If I want to send the forms, I want to send all of the chosen forms to Mac Lister, so I check his box. I create a note, custom email message to be sent with the forms, and I uncheck Attach Cover Sheet. Then I click on Send. Remember, in this example, these forms are being sent to a fictitious email to me. I received the email. My email says it was sent from me to me. Now I see what the seller would have received. I open the PDF files and verify everything is working fine. Wow, it works! Now that I know how it works, and I have verified it's working properly, I can feel secure to actually do this with a real client. As an additional note, you can upload any forms, letters, copies of deposit checks, any PDF document to myTransactions. All documentation will be saved and be available for at least 7 years. Attachments is very important to use to keep all documentation having to do with this transaction online, available if needed in the future. There is no need for paper or file cabinets. And you can actually put a signature on these forms or a place for initials on the forms, even though they are PDF files. We will not be working with the attachments at this time. That's for our next class. We completed the first of 3 parts for myTransactions Basics, Forms. We'll be working with e-signing and creating form sets in classes 2 and 3. Remember that additional resources are available. Here are some resources you may want to view and/or download. Thank you for viewing this video. eEdge is here, and we are thrilled to have it. eEdge, the power to produce. Everything you need to facilitate your 80% in a faster, easier. We have been working diligently to teach you a system that provides you with everything you need to facilitate your 80% in a faster, easier, more efficient way for a fraction of the cost.